To you listening this morning, I'd like to introduce you to Christi. Christi, good morning and welcome to 729 AM.
Thank you so much, Brad. It's lovely being here.
Look, Christi, you did it. Your music dreams are coming true. You got an album, you got a single. Man, you must be happy. You live in the dream.
Yes, definitely. I've been dreaming about this since I can remember, and the fact that it's a reality is surreal.
So tell us a little bit about your musical influence. I couldn't help but see when they shared your album cover with us. I saw you standing there against the wall holding a Pink Floyd album, and I thought you must have some real diverse musical influences in your life. Tell us more about that.
Yes, no, I definitely have. So my father loves vinyl records, and I grew up listening to Pink Floyd and U2, a lot of old bands with him, also CCR. And he was also a DJ in the 80s.
Cool.
So I grew up listening to 80s music a lot. And I'm also an early 2000s baby. So I was born in the year 2000. And that also meant like I listened to a lot of that punk pop rock
Mm.
that was coming out in the early 2000s, like Avril Lavigne and Blink 182. And then obviously the music of today. So I think my music experience kind of stretched from the 70s up until now. But I really enjoy listening to different genres. I feel just listening to one kind of keeps me in a box, and I
Yeah.
love exploring sounds and different musicians.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about your songwriting. I mean, what influences it? I'm quickly going to jump in here with an assumption. I mean, if I look at what's happening in your debut album here, Fall Apart, I'm kind of getting this feeling that, I don't know if I almost want to say it's a little bit of the pain almost of life and stuff of life sort of sneaking through. But apart from the obvious, I mean, what else is driving your songwriting for this album?
So for me, songwriting is kind of a way of journaling. It's a way for me to work through my emotions, to process my thoughts, the situations that I'm in.
Mm.
A lot of times it's like 10 minutes that I'm so overwhelmed and I just get this song. But it's truly an honest thing of where I am at that point and what I'm feeling. So songwriting is definitely a way that I work through the highs and lows of life. With Fall Apart, focusing a bit more on the lows. Um, but yeah, so it's my process of working through that. And a lot of times I start with a melody with lyrics and I just build from that. A lot of these songs were written over several years. I'll write a chorus or I'll write a verse. While later I'll rediscover the song or remember the melody
Mm.
and then just continue writing from there. So it's definitely a process, but I think it is a combination of what I really feel in the moment and then also a reflection of how I felt in that moment.
I always ponder around. I'm not a songwriter myself. I spend time in the studio with a songwriter here as my co-presenter, and I have a lot of admiration for the skill and the ability to express yourself like that. But I often wonder when you put pen to paper and come up with an idea, who do you take these ideas to? Like, who's in your inner circle? You know, that you is there someone who you take your stuff to and say, "Just listen, what do you think about this?"
Yeah, for me, it's actually most of the time fellow musos, so other people who I also know love music. My brother is a worship pastor, so I definitely always take it to him.
Mm.
He has a great knowledge of music and he's so supportive in my life. And also my producer, Daniel Barron, he's an incredible producer. I loved working with him. And he always gives the greatest advice about where he thinks a song should go, maybe little things that I can tweak, maybe a lyric here or there that's just not hitting the beat right.
Mm.
So yeah, having different people in music to play it to, and my family is my biggest support, my mom and dad, and they also. My mom's not a big lover of music, but she just loves hearing what I write and what I'm going through.
Yeah, that's actually also from a parent's perspective. You know, sometimes you could take them something that you know is not your best, but they will always be there and be so kind and supportive, right?
Nick, it could be the worst song on earth, and my mom would still put it on the fridge.
Oh, you gotta love that about our parents. So, we're playing the song "Love Burn." I've listened to it a few times, as one does, and I've come to realize you're not afraid just to say somebody hurt me, and this is how I feel about it. So you're also not shy just to go and say it like it is.
Yeah, I don't think I'm necessarily always the best sugarcoater. In life, I had to learn to be like, okay, yes, speaking the truth is right. You should speak the truth, but there's a way of delivering the
Mm,
truth. So that's definitely something I've learned. But I think through art, you can be in people's face, you
yeah.
can be direct. So there are some times where I kind of sugarcoat the lyrics with metaphors and things like that. And other times I'm just like, yep, this is what it is.
Gonna say it like it is. This might be a very personal question, but clearly, when I listened to Love Burn, I realized there's a relationship there that didn't go the way that you initially thought it might, but in retrospect, maybe it went the way it should. Has the other person, heard the song at all?
Well, I really don't know. I haven't spoken to him for more than a year.
Okay.
My mom ran into his mom coincidentally yesterday. And they just said they're really proud of me. So that's basically the much as far as I know.
Yeah, and that's really what it's about is respect at the end of the day in these kind of situations. Which brings me to this part of the story that I haven't really been eager to share today. You're influenced by secular music, and that's okay. We all love that. But uh, you had a moment in your life, and it's not too long ago, where you were introduced to Jesus, and you made that choice to say, you know what, I choose to follow him. We really want to hear that part of the story because we start to realize that no matter the hurts and stuff that we all have to go through as part of life, you now have a completely different way of dealing with it. Your outlet is music, but in your heart, you have a brand new way of dealing with stuff.
Yes, definitely. So, yeah, I grew up in a Christian household. Like I said, my brother is also a pastor. But yeah, around the end of high school, I decided to turn away from God and just went into a sinful life. And
Mm,
at the end of university in my third year, I just cracked kind of under the pressure. I was so depressed. I could not be happy if I wasn't high or drunk or
mm,
anything like that. I couldn't be alone by myself, just a lot of terrible things. And I was even hospitalized for depression. I dropped out of university. I just couldn't go through this. I actually just couldn't do life anymore. And I moved back home, and my parents encouraged me to start going to church with them again. And in my mind, I literally just thought, okay, well, let's give this Jesus thing a try again. Medication isn't working, drugs isn't working, alcohol isn't working, sleeping around, sin, everything like that. It's just not working. It's just making me feel more empty. So I started going to church, and God just really came and made me there. I remember there was this one Sunday in May, I think, where we were worshiping and they were singing a song. I think it's that I surrender. I wanna know that song. I think we were singing that. And I just felt in that moment to really surrender to God. I got on my knees and
wow.
I just cried and I said, Jesus, I surrender. Like, I don't know how this looks. I don't know what's going to happen, but I surrender. And since doing that, like, Jesus just started working my life slowly but surely. I didn't even realize it. Like, the last time I went to a club, I was actually disgusted. I was there for less than a half hour. I didn't even want to buy a drink because I felt so uncomfortable in the club.
Mm,
And yeah, I just continued walking with God. And yeah, this year I'm actually doing an internship at my church at Every Nation Faith City here in Potchefstroom. And yeah, I'm currently in the campus service, helping there as well as the worship team. And yeah, God just really changed my life. Stopped drinking, doing drugs, stopped living in sin. And I can really say, like, I do still have my ups and downs, but what I have now is peace. and joy and a purpose. So I praise God for that.
What can a person say to that? But thank you for being so honest. And to you listening this morning, maybe that's a space that you're in, maybe that's a space that you've been in, but you're hearing it here from Christi. Thanks for your openness. So now the music that you're singing, it's so important for artists to tell their story, which is why we do what we do here on our program. Because now when I listen to a song called Drink, a song called Happy, a song called Sunday Afternoon, Online, Fall Apart, Rain, Shining Light, Love Burn, Playing, Stand Up, and One Step. Those are all the titles of all the albums, all the tracks on Christi's album. I can almost start to see it in a completely different light, knowing the heart that's behind the music as you've expressed yourself. So I just want to say thanks so much that we could have this candid, open conversation. I think this is so important for everyone. So thanks, Christi.
Oh, it's a big pleasure. Yeah, thank you for allowing me to share this testimony.
Yeah, you're so welcome. So you spoke now about an internship. I couldn't help but read a little bit about you that you might be wanting to head off to Europe as well. You're setting yourself up for some travel?
Yes, so currently I'm helping the church plan a outreach to Germany and Austria. So we're expecting to go at the end of October, beginning of November side. And I'm currently learning German. Because of that, I also really love the language. I used to sing in German for my studies. So it's definitely something that I love. And last year I went on an outreach to France, and I just saw actually the big hunger that Europe has for God. People think, that's where Christianity went full swing. Like the entire Europe was either Protestant or Catholic or Orthodox. So everybody knew Christ. But there's really been a big turn away from God. And you can see that in the people. You can see they're looking for something. They're looking for Jesus. And they're trying to fill it with other things in life. So yeah, the ground is very hard. It's the people need Jesus there. So I really hope that I can go and spread the gospel.
You just take your music, your heart, your passion, and your story, and we know God will use it in a mighty way. Before we greet one another, we're going to play one of the songs off this album. As you heard in the very beginning, how excited we all are to be able to live a musical dream and release a whole album. For some people, that stays a dream most of their lives, but this young lady has already made it happen. How do we keep in touch with you? How do we see what you're up to? How can we get your music?
So my music is on all streaming platforms. At the moment, we are struggling with Apple Music. Some people can download it, some people can't. So for that, I would really suggest go to YouTube. It is there. Just type in Christi Fall Apart and you'll find the entire album, the same as Spotify. And social media, I'm on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. My handle is Christi with 2 I's at the end, underscore music.
So you've heard it from Christi with 2 I's at the end. Thanks for sharing some time with us. Thanks for sharing your music. The song we're going to play is called Love Burn. It's off that album Fall Apart, and you'll hear how candidly she sings about her feelings and all of that. And sometimes you just got to get it out there, and we know the song will resonate with somebody else. And knowing when things do fall apart, there is one who loves us more than any other that'll pull us back together again. And as Christi's reminded us, it doesn't always happen as we want it to. It'll happen in his time, which will be the best one. Thanks for your time today, Christi. All the best with your music. Thanks for what you've given us to enjoy, and all the best for also your outreaches and in your walk with Jesus.
Thank you so much.
What a pleasure. So here's that song.